Airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
It's time for Tip-Off Tuesday.
They're really good people, and the chemistry's great, very coachable, they work hard.
Shelstad left wing three. Yes, sir! Instant, what a catch, and a finish, plus the foul.
The guys are playing hard, and guys found a way, so it's a big part of any season, just fighting away.
Pass underneath to Cousteau, he's fouled and one. Gray wants another three, are you kidding?
So let's go have some fun, let's play loose and see what happens.
This is Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Let's talk Oregon Duck basketball. From the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Both teams looking for a bit of a bounce back this weekend as Oregon men's basketball hits the road to Los Angeles, a 7:30 tip-off on Thursday. USC, the first opponent, televised on ESPN, and then for the Duck men, a 7 o'clock start on Saturday in Westwood against UCLA. It's Tip-Off Tuesday presented by Toyota here in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon women's basketball coming off that loss to Colorado over the weekend, and they dropped a tight one to Utah. It really felt like in both of those games, the Ducks played solid defense, just didn't quite have enough of the offense to get them over the ledge, to get an upset over a couple top 25 opponents. But the rivalry matchup is upcoming for Oregon women's basketball. The Ducks in Eugene on Pac-12 Network Sunday at 4 o'clock, Oregon women's basketball against Oregon State. Chris Clayton, Bev Smith, a 3:30 pregame show. A little extra practice time for Oregon women's basketball this week as they get ready for that rivalry matchup. So both teams looking for a bit of a bounce back. On the men's side, Ducks are tied with Arizona atop the Pac-12 standings, a 6-3 record. But Coach Altman would tell you a missed opportunity for the Ducks against Arizona. Could have had some separation in those standings. Well, now they got to hold serve, go on the road, get a couple wins against teams that are toward the bottom of the Pac-12 standings in UCLA at 4-5 and USC at 2-7 in Pac-12 play. I know a lot of fans wondering about Keyshawn Barthelemy. And look, all I can tell you as we're live Tuesday afternoon, the Ducks will go through practice this afternoon. It looked serious, and I just wish Keyshawn Barthelemy nothing but the best moving forward. Might change the rotation for the Ducks, and we'll talk with Kevin McKenna about that coming up. Our Director of Player Development, Kevin McKenna, joining us talking men's basketball. We'll hear from the head coach, Kelly Graves, talking with Chris Clayton today. And then I sat down with Kario Oquendo, a guy that may very well win the dunk contest if there was one amongst the men's basketball players. And then Ula Chamberlin, an Oregonian, talking with another Oregonian from Southern Oregon in Chris Clayton coming up. That's on the horizon. Tip-Off Tuesday, we got a lot of interviews, so it's a quick first segment today. We're back after this with Kevin McKenna on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Introducing Lem and Lime for Starry Lemon Lime Soda.
Hey.
Hello. What is Starry Lemon Lime Soda?
It's a crisp, clear burst of lemon lime flavor, and it's caffeine-free.
One of you must be a little more important than the other.
We're both important.
So it could just as easily be Starry Lime Lemon Soda.
That doesn't sound right. I like it. So you saying hip-hop could be hop-hip?
Works for me.
Starry Lemon Lime Soda. Starry hits different.
Pepsi is proudly distributed by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
This is Tip-Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Clayton. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. We're in the Country Financial Studio. Joey Mack, Kevin McKenna is here, folks. So we were just talking before we got rolling that you seem to always come on after a loss, and I did not mean for that to happen. So the broadcaster now, I just want you to know that I will not ask you to come on after a loss ever again, all right? Now I'm going to remember that, and I'm taking it to heart.
Well, I just hope that means we're not losing a ton.
Exactly.
But, we are winning more than we're losing, but the last game was a tough one for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I do want to start generally, Coach. Just review the weekend for fans. Some of the takeaways from the homestand.
Well, we had a great crowd for Arizona. They're a good team. They're a top 10 team. They're big. They came in angry. They had a tough game at Oregon State. Oregon State beat them on a last-second shot, and they came in hungrier and angrier than we were. And a lot of times that psychological edge can put you over the top. We played well in some stretches during the game, but for the most part, defensively, we had too many breakdowns and had some turnovers in the first half that cost us.
Yeah. You talk about the crowd. That's a huge deal, right? I mean, when you have an environment like that, college basketball, home court sport.
Yeah, it is, and we've had good crowds, good support, no question, this year, and we have to do something to try to attract them, and we have to win those kind of games, and it's unfortunate we couldn't get that one done, but hopefully, going to LA this week, we can make amends for that last one.
Talk a little bit about the LA matchup coming up in a moment. I wanted to go bigger picture with you a little bit because your role has shifted with the way the NCAA is. Things have changed where there can be more guys coaching on the floor. Like, what's that process been like for you, and just kind of adapting to the different roles?
Last year it was different. It was harder last year. They changed the rules this year. They're allowing more on the floor coaching with more staff. So basically, there's 6 guys that can be on the court coaching. Last year there was only 4, and I was in a role where I couldn't really on the floor coach. But it's been good for me. I don't travel on the road recruiting anymore. The younger guys are doing that, which is fine with me. And I'm staying with the team and staying with Coach Altman and trying to work on development with our guys and trying to get them better and working on day-to-day stuff with practice and with our guys.
Director of Player Development, and so that means what? Tell fans a little bit about the whole process.
Well, it's just kind of organizing and making sure that our GAs are working with our guys. The NCAA only allows us so much time with them, but they allow unlimited time with our GAs. So, our GAs do a great job. We've got 3 really good ones. 2 of them were former players for us. And Marcuri's doing a great job too, a Cal guy. But even though he's a Cal guy, he's doing an awesome job, and he does a really nice job with our guys, especially our big guys, Dante and Nate and Mo and KJ. Have all made good strides due to his, tireless work with those guys. So basically just organizing that, summer stuff. Mike does a good job with individual workouts too and that. But for the most part, just making sure the guys are engaged in doing stuff on their own, because at the end of the day, if you're not putting in extra time with free throws, with shooting, with weight room stuff, you're just not going to get ahead. They only allow us 20 hours a week, and guys need to put in more time than that.
I've talked about this too. You mentioned the GAs and how impactful they are in preparation and in planning and in practice time, but also how about just the historic connection? I mean, you talked about Corey, but then also Jason Calise and Olu Ashalu, 2 former Ducks, as you alluded to. Like, that's got to be a cool connection for you, having those guys come back and in kind of a coaching role.
No, it is. It's really good for those guys and for us to have them around to kind of resonates with them what coach says now, what it meant to them then, and they can share that with the players, and they've been through it. They know what it is, and they know what success looks like, and they can share that with our players. And both those guys went on to nice pro careers, whether it was in Europe or Asia or Canada. Those guys played for 8, 10, 12 years after, and now they want to get into coaching and work on degrees, and that's what they're doing. So they're definitely an asset for us, and they do a nice job.
I asked Ula Chamberlin if he still internally hears like the Coach Altman, Coach McKenna, all those different isms, if you will. And he said, oh, yeah, still, while I'm playing, I still hear him. That's got to be kind of rewarding for you to see in your career.
Yeah, it is. And it shows that there was a connection there with the players and, players from Oregon, players from Creighton that we stay in touch with. It's amazing how they say stuff that we've been saying for 25 years. And it's kind of cool to see it and hear it. And, again, just know that you made a connection with them more than just on a coach-player relationship. It's more and deeper than that. And I think that's what Coach Altman appreciates. I know I appreciate it, and those types of relationships are lifelong.
Kevin McKenna with us on Tip Off Tuesday, talking about some individuals. I am curious, like, it is so difficult, I think, to have injuries. It's the worst part of sports, and then to have guys come back and reintegrate. Like, what's that process like from a planning perspective, from the coaching perspective of you have to change your lineup? I mean, there's no doubt that the rotations looked a lot different in a lot of different games over the course of this season.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, and that's something that Coach Altman does a great job at, and trying to, not rush guys back in and overplay them too much when they're not really ready for it, and again, try to get combinations and see what's working kind of on the fly, because again, we haven't had that much practice. When Nate and Dante and those guys were out and Mookie was out, we really didn't have enough to go 5-on-5 and really risk getting more injuries. And we're kind of back at that spot again right now. We're down to 9 scholarship players again. With Keyshawn's injury. So it's a challenge. It's something that, you have to juggle and figure out and kind of work on the fly. And we're just trying to do the best we can.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I think a lot of fans, Coach, are thinking about Keyshawn. I was certainly thinking about Keyshawn in that moment. Injuries are the worst part of sports. You hate to see that.
Yeah, you hate to see it. And Keyshawn was, the last couple games, had really perked up and has been playing better and defensively and making shots and, utilizing his quickness and the speed and for him to go down like that, it really is a blow to our team and puts some more pressure and more on the shoulders of the other guards.
Yeah, so we'll see what the rotation looks like. I imagine that's kind of one of the keys heading forward, settling in on the rotation moving forward.
Figuring out who's going to, Jackson can't play 40 minutes a game, and again, he's a freshman, and he's, going through this league for the first time, and going on the road, and that is a challenge for any young player. And like we were talking about before, he's 18 years old and going against some 22, 23, 24-year-olds at times. And that's a big physical, mental change and difference in that. And he's fighting it. He's doing a good job. He's really coachable. He's a great kid. I think he loves being at Oregon, and he's going to do what he can to help his team.
Ups and downs in every season for sure, and hoping for an up this week. Some of the keys to success against the LA schools.
Well, I think we're going to see two totally different types of defenses. USC's been playing a lot of zone, a lot of 2-3 zones, so I think we'll see a lot of that. They may mix it up and play some more man. But UCLA is straight man-to-man, really super hard pressure, denying wings, denying entry passes, very aggressive defensively. They've struggled offensively, but they've won 4 out of 5. In the one game they lost, they were ahead big at Arizona. So they've kind of hit their stride and played better, and they'll be a challenge. But, again, USC struggled, but, they're – like anybody on their home court, they can get going, and Boogie Ellis is back, and he's a talented guard. So, a lot of things, a lot of factors, a lot of things that we're going to have to adjust to on the fly with two totally different styles of teams, and hopefully our guys will be ready for that challenge.
You have watched, I would venture to say, more Pac-12 basketball than probably 99.9999999% of the world, Coach. I mean, what have you seen from the conference this year? Break it down for us.
Again, different styles, different teams are kind of have risen up this year. I think Colorado's a very good team. Arizona's good. Utah's good. I think we have a good team. Washington and Washington State are both have shown signs that they can beat a lot of teams. So, and Oregon State has played well. They swept the Arizona schools last week. So, I think it just shows that if you're not ready to play on a certain night, you can get beat. And, you can watch all the film you want, but if your guys, don't show up ready to play and ready to compete, they could be in trouble.
He's Kevin McKenna. I'm telling you, has probably watched more Pac-12 basketball than maybe anybody. That's got to be fair, right?
I don't know about that. I watch a lot of film. I'll watch 2 or 3 games of UCLA, and then our game. I've watched our game with them already, and kind of take notes after games and write stuff down, and you watch the game again when you're getting ready to play them again, and kind of see how it worked out last time, and see what we might want to change as far as an approach to the game and that. So yeah, it's I like watching games. I like listening to Bill Walton. Yeah. He's one of my favorite guys to listen to, probably because it breaks the monotony of the normal guy.
Sure.
And he's an interesting guy and an awesome dude. I really like him. He has time for everybody. He takes pictures with everybody. He's nice to everybody. He's a people person, I think, is the best way to put it. And again, I enjoy being around him.
I've said this before, that if the entire world was half as curious as Bill Walton is, we'd all be living in a much better world.
Yep. That's probably true.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah, he is. He's great. I've known him forever, and I played against him a few times and back in the day and that. But I point him out to our guys, and I say, hey, see that guy over there that's limping around, and he's got a bad back, he's got bad feet. He arguably is the best college basketball player ever. Yep. And they look at me like, really? Because they have, he's old like me. They have no idea who he was. Right. And he really, in my eyes. I was at high school and that when he was, at UCLA, and just watching him was just like, whoa, this is crazy how good he was. And he's had a great career, and like I said, he's fun to be around.
He is. Well, Kevin McKenna, thanks for coming over to the studio. Looking forward to some victories, and then I promise that we'll get you on after a 2-0 weekend next time.
All right.
That sounds good.
We're going to go down there and compete.
All right. I like it. Kevin McKenna joining us. We're going to get a timeout. When we come back, flipping gears, going to the women's side. Going to hear from Kelly Graves on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. And that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking. Earn more interest with remarkable checking, and show your duck devotion with a duck debit card. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit. Insured by NCUA.
Fubo is the official streaming platform of Oregon Athletics. With Fubo, you can watch every Pac-12 game, plus more college and pro sports, shows, movies, and news on over 350 live TV channels. Stream it live on your TV, phone, and other devices. No cable required. The best part? You can try Fubo free. There's no contract or commitment. To start watching, just go to FuboTV.com. That's FUBOTV.com.
You're listening to Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
We're back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. They always bring you our head coach interviews, our assistant coach interviews, really everything on Tip-Off Tuesday. Now let's hear a little bit from Kelly Graves. He talked with Chris Clayton just a little bit ago earlier this week.
Kelly, thanks for your time as always.
Good to be here.
Yeah, coming off a weekend of games where you played two elite opponents, Utah and Colorado, both top 20 in the country and really Final Four contenders. You held one in Utah to 58 points, Colorado to 61. I know the result you wanted was win, but held both to 35%. A lot to like defensively.
Well, yeah, I thought defensively we played well enough to win both games. You know, our problem this year has not been at the defensive end. I think we've continued to get better and better and better. When we've struggled defensively, it's second chance points. You know, and and we gave Colorado a bunch. We did a good job against Utah, but anytime you can hold that kind of opponent to an average of 59.5 points a game over your two games, especially considering Utah leads the Pac-12 and is one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the nation in scoring, that's getting it done. We just struggle to score, and we were without Grace the first night. And then we were without Sophia the second night. And actually, we lost Sophia early in the third quarter against Utah, and I thought that really hurt us. We were winning and playing well, and then just defensively, that was where we had our toughest quarter. So, it's just it's a tricky riddle. We're trying to figure it out. And, ultimately, we have to be able to make baskets. It seems like everything that we get is inside. We've struggled to make anything from the three-point line or anything from the perimeter to soften up the defense so that they're not just collapsing around Grace when she drives and around Philly when she just touches the ball. So, it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, we had some pretty good shots yesterday.
Yeah.
And they're just not falling. So
yeah, and you've had some bad luck, as you said, with injuries this year. But one thing that's remained constant is just the fight and the character of this team. And the first half was a bit frustrating against Colorado yesterday, or on Sunday, I should say. But, man, the grit in the second half to come all the way back within 7 points.
That's why I went away from the game. You're never happy when you lose. But I went away feeling better because, yeah, we did. We competed in the second half when we could have folded. And and we showed some fight, and that's something that reveals some character, and then we played a lot better. We just got aggressive, we got to the line more. Chance got there 12 times, I think, all in the second half yesterday. That's what we got to start the game like, and for whatever reason we just didn't. And I give our kids a ton of credit. We play, Philly played 38 minutes on Friday night. And, we play at 7 o'clock, and then you have to, a day and a half later, you're playing a 12 o'clock game. That's not easy for someone who's logging those kind of minutes. And unfortunately, we have to ride a few players with a lot of minutes, and I think it shows sometimes in that second game. But, right now, given where we're at as a team, it's necessary that we have to play them that much.
Was there a raw motivational halftime speech in the Colorado game Sunday, or was it just about making adjustments and playing better?
Well, I think the adjustment we made was we've got to get downhill. We and I think we did a better job of that. But no, there wasn't really any hell-bent for election kind of speech at halftime. It was I tried to appeal to the fact that, in life you lose a lot more than you win. Mm-hmm. And it just seemed like when we were struggling, we get down even more. Mm-hmm. You've got to get yourself back up. Otherwise, you're going to have a really unfulfilling life, because there are going to be so many. And so we're trying to prepare them for life as well as win basketball games. And that was the appeal I made at halftime. And I don't know if that helped, but, we certainly went out and played better.
So the 2-3 zone, that it's been working so well for you this year. For fans, it's 2 defenders at the top defensively and then 3 more towards the baseline. And it's something that you have leaned on this year, and it feels like it's getting better. I mean, the way you're able to contain opponents, how has it evolved over the course of this season?
Well, we struggled early, and I think right at the start of conference, one of the strengths we have is our size, our length, especially inside. And so we just, we struggle with a lot of teams that spread you out with 4 guards, and we tried to play man-to-man against those teams, and we just struggled. Now you're taking away Kennedy, you're taking away Philly. They're having to go out on the perimeter and guard people. And we just thought, you know what, once you get to the Pac-12 where everybody's really good, that's just going to be a losing formula. We're not going to be able to play those players. And so we just made the conscious decision to, let's go into a 2-3 zone. We got Grace at 6'2" on one wing and Kennedy 6'7", and then Philly 6'8" in the middle. So that back line's pretty formidable. And then 2 pretty good defensive guards out front. And just said, let's pack it in and let's get better. And I'm glad you noticed. I really do think that we are getting better defensively, and people are noticing. I mean, we're not giving up many points. We're defending well enough to have a better record than we are.
Yes.
Again, it's at the offensive end where we're just struggling.
Even without Sophia Bell, maybe your best defender, you're still able to contain Colorado really well on Sunday. We're talking with Oregon head coach Kelly Graves here on Tip-Off Tuesday. And for this team and its health moving forward, it's good timing now to maybe, from my seat, I would guess, good timing to not have a game on a Friday to maybe try and get healthy before Oregon State on Sunday.
Yeah, we hope. I don't know what Sophia's status. I think she's getting an MRI today. She took a pretty nasty fall against Utah. She did against Stanford last week. When she hit Cameron Brink, Cameron ends up not playing the rest of our game and then didn't play against Oregon State. And Sophia toughened it up, and she played both, and then she got hit again. So I don't know what her status is. Grace is better. She's back. Chance is kind of beaten up a little bit, so we probably keep her out of practice most of the week. Kennedy Williams is still day-to-day. I mean, we shouldn't be playing her, to be honest with you, but we have to once in a while just in case of emergency. We just don't have any other ball handlers. So, yeah, our health isn't great, but, everybody's beaten up this time of year. So you're right. This is just a one-game week, so – we have a chance to kind of heal up a little bit. And more importantly, what I told the kids after the game is this is a great week to catch up academically. Sometimes we forget that they're student athletes. And, with a week like this, we're giving them a lot of time away from the gym so that they can concentrate on academics as well.
And that game, for you personally on Sunday, the connection you have to J.R. Payne, the Colorado head coach, and what she's been able to do with the Buffalo's program is impressive. And extra special for you is she played for you at St. Mary's, coached for the first 5 years in the early 2000s with you at Gonzaga. What's that been like to see her development professionally?
Well, she's like a daughter to me. We talk all the time. I just think so highly of her, respect what she's done and is doing. It was a struggle for a while at Colorado. I give Rick George a lot of credit. He stuck with her, and now look where they're at. They're one of the best teams in the country. And it's not just JR, and she was a great player. I just love her to death. Her husband, Toriano, he got his start at Gonzaga as a coach. He had another job. He moved up there for JR. They were dating at the time, not married. And then he just started showing up at our offices every day, and we kind of put him to work and not on the payroll. And then he just kind of morphed into the job. Yeah. And now look at him. He's her top assistant. And then the other assistant, Taylor Carr, played for me at Gonzaga and then coached here for 2 years after she got done playing pro ball. And now, and then she moved to a couple of spots after that. So that whole staff has, we have ties with the whole staff. They're people that I really love and respect. So I'm happy for her. I'm sad that she beat us.
Right.
But if I'm going to lose to somebody, I don't mind it her.
It's been a remarkable decade of success, and sometimes it's just sports. You go through cycles and incredible seasons, and then seasons where it can be a grind. You have some bad luck too. So that's life as a sports fan, and I hope that Duck fans understand that. And now you get your second matchup with Oregon State coming up on Sunday, so you know what to expect. What's going to be key in that game?
I just think you've got to match their physicality. They're big inside. They're physical. They execute so well offensively. And when they're clicking, I'll tell you, they're really, really good. Who's really helped them and did this week is the freshman Donovan Hunter.
Yeah.
She had kind of struggled. I think she'd scored like 12 points through 5 games, her last 5 games, and then she's got to be the freshman of the week this week. And then Regan Beers is, one of the premier players in the conference. Tamia Gardner's coming off the bench. When you have somebody of her ability coming off the bench, that's something. And then they surround those players with a couple of players, 3 or 4 players that can really shoot the ball. So it makes it tough. If we could surround, and I'm not putting any of our players down, I'm just saying if we could surround Philly with some just dead-eye shooters, it changes our whole team. It changes the dynamic. And, so anyway, we got our work cut out for us. But we're home. I know our kids are going to be really motivated. It's a big game. They've got to move up in the rankings, I'm sure, after
they beat Colorado and Utah. Utah handily.
That actually really surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they certainly could beat them, but, man, by that much. So Utah's maybe struggling a little bit. I think we exposed them a little. I thought did a great job defensively.
Mm-hmm.
We made them beat us one-on-one inside and stayed at home on all the shooters. And what happens when you play them is everybody wants to suck in and help on Peely inside because she's so great, and then they just kick it out and then make the extra pass for a wide-open catch and shoot. We took that away.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen the game against Oregon State yet. I'll watch it today or tomorrow and see what they did.
Yeah, it's a grind in Pac-12 play. It just feels like if you slip up, all of a sudden you find yourself with a 20-point loss. That's life this year.
Oregon State at home.
Yep.
And then we go to the mountains.
Yeah.
And then, we've got the two LAs both ranked in the top 10 coming in the following week. It's just it never stops.
Yeah.
And, and we have to look at it as a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Not as, oh, my goodness, here they – because it is. It's a great opportunity, and that it will make us better. So.
And that's why you sign up to be in the Pac-12, to play games like this, and the nation's elite.
And we've been on the other side of that. We've been that team where they go, oh, my gosh, Oregon's coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not quite there this year. But, listen, we can do nothing but move on to the next game, and that's Oregon State.
Yep, and it's going to be a fun one. Always a great rivalry and should be a great crowd. So good luck against the Beavers, and thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you.
That's Kelly Graves talking with Chris Clayton. Tip-off Tuesday presented by Toyota. Big opportunity, Oregon women's basketball at home against Oregon State, 4 o'clock on Sunday. When we come back to men's basketball, Kario Oquendo. I sat down with him earlier today. That's coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Pepsi Zero Sugar has taken its flavor to the next level. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. But we don't expect you to take our word for it, so we're putting it to the test. Starting with me. Cue the fireworks. We have an official best Zero Sugar ever. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Pepsi is proudly distributed by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
This is Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Kario Oquendo is here in the Country Financial Studio. Kario, hey, we were just talking before we got going. Thanks for coming over. Now, I got to give a little context for everybody, okay? So, on the recruiting visit, Kario actually came here into the studio, and we did an interview.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
Okay. Do you remember the tradition that we have that you have to do?
Is
Is that like the 3 questions?
There you go.
Like
See, 2-minute life story.
Yeah,
okay.
2-minute life story.
So I'm going to give you the chance. It's the first time you've been on Tip-Off Tuesday to do it again.
Okay.
So are you ready?
I think so.
Oh, you're going to be great.
I'll try to.
You're going to be great. All right.
I'll try to. Right.
2-minute life story. Kario Oquendo. Go.
So I was born in Rockledge, Florida, but all my family is pretty much from Titusville, Florida, and that's pretty much like where, like, if you want to find anybody in my family, that's pretty much where I'm from.
They're all there.
And then so I grew up around. I moved in with my grandmother around the time I was like 5, because I used to stay with my mom and my dad. So I moved in with my grandmother, and pretty much that was like I was from like kindergarten through about 12th grade I lived with my grandma, and then I think around 2nd grade, that's when I started playing basketball and football at the same time. And when I got to middle school, that's like when I stopped playing football, because I liked football, but it was like really hot, and my dad was more of a football player than me. My dad and both my uncles, they were 1,000-yard rushers in high school. So yeah, and then when I got to high school, that's around the time like when basketball started becoming like serious for me, like recruitment and stuff like that. And after high school, I decided to go to Florida Southwestern. And after Florida Southwestern, I went to Georgia, had fun at Georgia, and then now I'm here in Eugene, just making the most of it, and really like being an Oregon Duck. So it's been good.
Minute 31. Pretty good. Hey, look, as you get older, it gets easier to fill up 2 minutes, right? I say well done. I think that your 2-minute life story when you were in here during the recruiting visit was like a minute long. So we've added 30 seconds.
Added 30 seconds.
That's pretty good. So you were a football player. Were you a running back?
No, I was pretty versatile. I was like all over the field.
Okay.
Like kind of like one they put me at running back before. Like I played wide receiver before. Like everywhere on defense. I attempted to play quarterback like maybe a couple games. Both our quarterbacks got hurt, but it was okay.
But basketball was your love.
Yeah.
So so you said it was like middle school. You really settled in on basketball.
Yeah.
When did you fall in love with the game? Like what triggered it for you?
Well, for me personally, it was just I think like I was like decent at football, and then like when I played basketball, it's like it just kind of like clicked for me. Like, and it was just something that I liked. And then obviously like watching NBA and things like that, I really liked watching LeBron when I was around like 8, and then I kind of just wanted to kind of play like him a little bit, but my game is kind of like a little different here. So.
Well, but you know your game develops into to your skill set.
Yeah.
You know, like so I've talked about this with a lot of the coaches that you just have such a burst to the basket. Like, have you met a defender that you can't get by in your career at this point?
Maybe one, maybe like 1 or 2 guys, but like pretty much like if I want to get to the rim, I pretty much can get to the rim, and it's just something I've always been like pretty good at, I guess.
I mean, how valuable is that though? Like for someone that does not have that athleticism, Kario, like tell us what that's like to be able to just get to the basket at will.
It's fun. I think that was like a lot for me. Like when I first started playing, I would just get to the rim. And then when I got like a little older, like high school-ish, like into high school, that's when I was like, all right, now I got to figure out how to shoot the ball.
Well, you've shot it at a high percentage this year. I mean, I remember when you and I talked preseason, that was a focus for you. You've shot it well. You feel confident in your shot right now?
Yeah, I've been putting a lot of work with coaches and just like I put in a lot of work with my coach Rowe. He was a new addition to the team. Like we pretty much work out every day. So just kind of putting in reps and stuff like that. And I've been feeling more confident. Coach has been telling me like I've been shooting good. So, yeah.
Kario Oquendo with us. Okay, so go back. Why'd you choose Oregon? What made you transfer here?
Well, it was always like they were like Coach Altman and things. They were always like I knew Fish obviously when he came this year, but Altman we were always kind of like talking like in every like I said like when he was recruiting me at every point when I was in the transfer portal. So we kind of just like eventually like I thought like he could teach me some things. Like I liked everything that pretty much he was telling me, and him thinking that I could be a better player than I already was. So it kind of just made sense this time around, and it's actually been pretty good for me. I feel like I got a lot better than I recently have been, and I feel like I'm on a team that can do really good things. So
you talked about knowing Coach Fish. He spent time at Georgia before coming back to Oregon, so you had the connection to Coach Fish. What's Coach Fish like?
Coach Fish is like Coach Fish. Like he's one of those people that you meet and you're gonna remember it like him as a person. And he's just like, he's pretty fun. He always has the same energy. He's always like making jokes and things like that. So like having somebody around like that is always a blessing, and he'll do anything for you. I think that's one of the things that I can say about Fish, that he'll do anything for you because he cares about a lot of people.
That's cool. Kario Oquendo joining us. Okay, so I got to give credit here. I talked with Brennan Rigsby about who would win the team three-point contest, team dunk contest. He said that you would win the team dunk contest. What do you think?
I think it'll be a good contest between both of us. I have more like power dunks type things. Like I can do some tricks and stuff, but he has like a bunch of tricks and stuff that he can do. Like I probably dunk harder than him, but he does a little more finesse than I do. So
fair enough. I mean, that's why you have multiple judges on the panel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like someone might like the power dunk, someone might like the finesse dunk. I think it's always a fun question. I mean, you guys. Look, I know there's a lot of focus, it's a lot of hard work, but when you dunk, like, is there a better feeling out there than when you get just a big throwdown?
Nah, I think it's just, I think for you, for your team, and for just like for everybody, like in the arena, like I feel like that's the easiest way to get the crowd like into it, and that's like the easiest way. I feel like when I get a dunk, I feel like the rest of the game is gonna be like a good game for me, basically. So.
Fires you up. Yeah, it fires you up. All right, a trip to Los Angeles coming up. Keys to success. What's it gonna take?
We've been talking about a lot as a team in the last 2 days because we dropped a couple games that we shouldn't have. So I think it's gonna take us just playing together and us just being like it's gonna take a whole team effort because it's never easy to win on the road, and they don't want us to come in there and get a win. So I think it's just going to be us playing together, playing hard, and just doing everything it takes to win.
Last question for you. You're always, I've observed anyway, you're a very calm and collected guy. Where does that personality come from? Have you always been that way? You're just kind of a level-headed guy, it seems like.
Well, yeah. I pretty much have always been that way. Like, I'm one of those people, like, you won't know that I like, make jokes and talk a lot and things like that until, like, you meet me. And so it's just one of those things, like, a lot of people growing up, they would think that I'm, like, some mean person, and then they meet me, and then they're like, because I'm always just chilling, and I'm just have, like, just that type of vibe. So I've always been like that my whole life. Like, even my family, like, I'm like that with my family, too. So
that's awesome. Who's on the chain?
This is, like, Mario, but it's, so it's Mario, but there's a K on the top of it because my name's Kario, so it's kind of like Kario, and then like when I was at Georgia, the fans would call me Super Kario for like Super Mario. So
I love it.
Yeah, so this is like my little thing.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. I want you to know that you've now given me so many ideas. When I do play-by-play, there's going to be a lot of Super Kario this weekend.
Yeah, they would make memes and stuff of me with the Mario hat and things like that. It's funny.
That's awesome.
Really
Kario Oquendo, hey, thanks for coming over.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it, and best of luck this year, all right? Quick time out. We're going to come back, talk next with Ula Chamberlin from Oregon Women's Basketball on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Fubo is the official streaming platform of Oregon Athletics. With Fubo, you can watch every Pac-12 game, plus more college and pro sports, shows, movies, and news on over 350 live TV channels. Stream it live on your TV, phone, and other devices. No cable required. The best part? You can try Fubo free. There's no contract or commitment. To start watching, just go to FuboTV.com. That's FuboTV.com.
Look, we totally get it. You'd rather not be listening to an ad right now. But if you have to, a mini ad is better. Maybe even a Pepsi mini ad. Still all the flavor of the full-size thing, just minier. The way ads should be. Like this one. Pepsi Minis. That's what I like.
Pepsi is proudly distributed by locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi.
You're listening to Tip Off Tuesday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby.
You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Back on Tip-Off Tuesday, presented by Toyota. Chris Clayton sitting down with Ula Chamberlin, a couple Southern Oregon natives talking here, talking a little women's basketball, Ula Chamberlin.
So it's very exciting for you, of course, to be playing at the University of Oregon. And you've played college basketball before, Weber State, UC San Diego. But what's your first year been like with the Ducks, and how are you settling in?
It's been amazing. I'm back home. I grew up in Oregon, so just to be able to be around all my family, my friends, it's been a really easy transition for me, and I'm definitely having a great time here.
So we can go in later to the process of how you kind of got to Oregon and your journey and overall with that. But, you know, as what Ducks fans know, they're watching you. Knockdown outside shooter, 46% from 3 on the season. How did that come about? Is that something that was natural to you growing up, or is that something you really focused and worked on?
It's kind of been a natural thing growing up. I've always been a shooter, and I think that's been like the main thing for my game, and it's just something I've constantly worked on ever since I was a young girl. So it's kind of my go-to, and I think what defines me a lot as a player.
Yeah, and it's a really cool story with how things have gone this season. You played 47 minutes total this last weekend, a big part of those great efforts against Colorado and Utah. But you started as a walk-on. And you were playing open gyms with the team, earned a full ride scholarship, which was really cool video that basically went viral of them awarding you that scholarship. What has that journey been like to go from just being on the team to now being a key part of the rotation?
It's honestly been a blessing. I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything greater. I mean, going into this, I didn't have expectations just because, you know, I'm starting from the bottom. I had to work my way up. But as a competitor, you know, I know where I wanted to be, and I knew what I needed to do to get there. And I'm just thankful that, you know, they believe in me and trust me and find value in who I am as a player.
So your background with your family, where you're from Medford. You went to South Medford High School, which is where I'm from. So I know there's a lot of Duck fans in Medford.
Totally.
And it's down there near California. Don't always get the in-state representation we deserve down there. So what was that experience like? I know Tom Cole has been having a lot of success with South Medford. You're the all-time leading scorer, the highest scoring Panther ever. What was your career like there with South Medford?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, Tom is just like a legend in Medford. He's built such a great program there. Going in there, they had a 8-year winning streak. So, you know, he's built some amazing things, and some great players have came through there. And I'm just lucky to have played from under him and played along with my sister and a lot of girls that I grew up with. But just playing at South Medford, I mean, it's a pretty known school for what he's made it to be. And so I think just being able to play there and be all-time leading scorer there has been such a great blessing.
And tell me about your family. You come from a very athletic family, starting with your parents, and now you have 3 siblings too. So what was how are sports a key part of your family?
So my dad, he's from Hawaii, and he came down here and played football at Southern Oregon University in Ashland. And so did my mom. My mom's a Hall of Famer there and an all-time leading scorer there as well at SOU. So they met there and have stayed here ever since. And then I have a twin brother. We call him Bretta, but his full name is Kaylee Ho'omalo'oke Kai. And then my name's Ka'ula Vena. I go by Ula for short. And I have a younger sister who is a junior in college, and she is played at McNeese State in Louisiana and then transferred to Austin Peay, and now she's at Southeastern in Louisiana. And then I have a younger brother who is a stud football player, and we moved him up here to Sheldon. They have a great program up here, and you know, he plans to take it far, and so we're just putting him in the best position as possible. And then my twin brother, he actually was diagnosed with brain cancer at the age of 7, so his life has been altered in a few ways, but you know, he's exceeded every expectation possible and has overcame everything that the doctors said that they couldn't. And he's about to graduate from SOU this spring as well. So
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
Is that something that inspired you to see him to come back from that and everything he's accomplished so far and will in the future?
It totally has. I mean, they told us when he was diagnosed, he was complaining about headaches a lot. And, you know, my mom's super like, oh, you're fine, you know, get over it, whatever. And we ended up taking him one day and super close with our doctor. And they did a CAT scan and they were like, we need an emergency life flight him to OHSU. And so we life flighted him that night. And the doctors were like, I don't know that he's going to come out alive. And if he does, he might be a vegetable. And with the God's grace, you know, he came out great. Everything. He's been cancer free for over 10 years now, 15 probably. He's doing awesome. So I couldn't be more proud of him.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story. Has he been able to come out to some games?
Yeah, he has. He's come out to a few. He's close to home, so it's been nice that he can be here. But he's just overall inspired me. You know, there's nothing that in life I could go through harder than what he's gone through. So I was just trying to keep a good head on my shoulders and stay humble and just know that, you know, everything could be worse than anything. So just keep pushing through life.
So your full name, once again, you say your full name?
Yeah, so I'm Ula Chamberlin. My dad is Kaylee Ho'omalu, or my dad is Kaylee Okolani, and then my twin brothers, Kaylee Ho'omalu Okekai. My sister is Ki'ili Laulani, and then my youngest brother is Kawai Huihui Okekuahivi.
Wow. We're going to be quizzed on this. I hope everybody was paying attention.
Yeah.
That's so Ula.
Yes.
Is that something that, how long have you been going by that short name?
Since I was a little girl, that's what I've always been called. So Ula is just part of Ka'ulavena. It's just easy for everybody. And the spelling's, you know, kind of tricky in Hawaiian because the W is represented as a V in Hawaii. So a lot of people would mispronounce our names just saying Ka'ulawena or Ka'ulawina or like whatever it is. So I'm just like, just call me Ula. It's all good.
That'll work.
Yeah.
So we're talking with Ula Chamberlin here, the Oregon Ducks women's basketball senior. And for your journey, you've played at Weber State, where you started your career a couple years. Then you went to UC San Diego. Then you took a year off, which is not something you know, in this era, we see people transfer. It happens all the time. But you don't necessarily see people take a year off. So what was this last year like away from basketball for you?
Yeah, so outside of basketball, I model. It's a big passion of mine. I've been modeling since I was in 5th grade, but took a long time away from it growing up just because I was a 3-sport athlete. I was playing competitive soccer, and then I ran track and did all the way through my senior year of high school. And then
so cool, her journey. Ula Chamberlin talking with Chris Clayton. That's awesome. What a tip-off Tuesday today. Go Ducks, huh?
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk